it's very important to have the most creative people, whether it was for the God's Own Country or Incredible India. I worked with the most creative people around, the best creative team around. Thirdly, I think it's important to differentiate yourself from the rest of the world. So whatever you are doing, try and position yourself, brand yourself, which is very different from anything else that you are doing. And I think the most critical thing is that you need to have the vision, the dream, the passion, the energy to be convinced about what you're doing. If you're convinced about what you're doing, you will always have the clarity of mind to go ahead and go all out and achieve that. And I think that vigor and energy is very critical, not only just in you as a leader, but in the entire team around you. That passion, that commitment comes from your conviction that you're going to do something which is going to be absolutely world-breaking, which is going to put India right on top, and that whatever you do will never be second class ever. And I think that's my belief, that India has reached a stage of its growth. It's growing at about 8%, 7.9%, but it needs to go at 9 to 10% per annum, year after year for next 3 decades. And if India has to do that, then you need to take India several notches up in terms of sheer quality of your infrastructure, in terms of sheer quality of your manufacturing. And therefore, a huge emphasis, a huge focus needs to be done all through by the entire team that is working on various government programs in just out-excelling the world. And therefore, benchmark yourself against the world best. And that requires an immense amount of belief in yourself. And not only just in yourself, but in the entire team. And I've always believed in doing that. And beyond that, I think it's important that your vision must be accompanied by a lot of detailing. Indians are very good at a vision, but in terms of sheer detailing of the program, right to the brass tacks, and then convincing the entire team that this program needs to be delivered is very, very critical. So I think working with outstanding people, building the right team, having the conviction and courage, and the passion and the determination and the detailing to deliver it are very, very critical.
Yeah, indeed they are. And like you rightly said, you've got to keep the fire burning in you. Okay, with that, before I open the forum up for audience questions, I'd like to inform everyone to keep those Twitter questions coming in. Just use the hashtag Personal Economy 2016 on Twitter, and the best question out of the lot will win a copy of Mr. Amitabh Kant's book, that's Branding India, An Incredible Story. Mr. Kant, we have our first Twitter question, in fact, already in, and Neeta Shah has sent in a question. She wants to know, how do you transform campaigns such as Swachh Bharat and Make in India from few people to a nation's passion?
For us, it was very important that, Make in India was about several things. It was about ease of doing business. It was about opening up India's economy. It was about our belief in the intellectual property rights, and we did several things. First, in ease of doing business, we worked with all the state governments, and we said these are 100 points which every state has to be delivered. And if states have to deliver that, we said we are going to evaluate and rank the states at the end of it, and we are going to name and shame the states in terms of sheer performance. So we we challenged the states, but we supported the state through several workshops. And at the end of it, at the end of 1 year, we got the World Bank to evaluate and rank the states. So every state was ranked. And, because there was a ranking process, every state worked hard. Every single officer worked hard. Every chief minister worked hard in coming right on top. And I think the kind of breakthroughs states did in terms of making themselves easy and simple was very critical. Last year, we did this on 100 points. This year, we're doing it on 344 points. But more important than that the political system, both in the center, driven by the Prime Minister himself, and the state level by the chief ministers, everybody was in sync with that same vision that India must become an easy, simple place for it to grow at rapid rates. If you look at opening up of India's economy, we did several things. We opened up defense, we opened up construction, we opened up railways, and all this was a process of consensus making right down from the Prime Minister, the finance Minister, the Commerce Minister, everybody worked together at it. So a lot of this was, working in very close partnership. These big ticket things in terms of driving India's growth strategy can never be done without a partnership. India is a very large country. It's bigger than 24 countries of Europe. And therefore, it requires a partnership. It requires a very collaborative partnership with the state governments, its officials, its political system. And I think one of the key challenges for an officer like me was to build that partnership.
Yeah, indeed. I'm going to get in some audience questions as well, Mr. Kant, on that note. Anyone for a question from Mr. Kant? Just raise your hand and we'll just pass the mic to you. Anyone in the audiences? Okay, no one here. Mr. Kant, I personally wanted to know, now, these are big projects. You've talked about Swachh Bharat, you've talked about Incredible India, Make in India, etc. Purely because of the sheer size of the country and the magnanimity of these projects, how do you cope with sometimes failure? Or, don't you get bogged down sometimes? And how do you deal with that? How does your passion keep you driving forward?
Well, when I initiate something, I've never thought of failure, ever. Have I said that this program is going to fail. So it's very critical that you have that vision, then work it out. Work out the details along with your team. And as I said, in all these programs, when we were building up Kerala as a travel and tourism destination, nobody had heard of Kerala. Nobody ever used to come down to Kerala. But we created a top-class campaign around God's own country. Similar thing with Incredible India. Actually, Incredible India was done at the peak of the Twin Tower blast in New York. And at that point of time, there was a war in Afghanistan. There were travel advisories against India. Nobody was coming to India. But I've always believed that every crisis is an opportunity. And therefore, we prepared the plan. We went all out for a 360-degree campaign. We went from television to commercials to the net. And we did several unique things. But the important thing was that in both these campaigns, we said that we are going to differentiate, in the case of Kerala, from the rest of Indian states. We said we are going to take a high-value, upmarket strategy for marketing, and we pitched both India and Kerala at different levels. And therefore, my belief was all through that both Kerala, in the case of the state, and India had unique positioning. They had unique branding. And once you believe in it, and your team believes in it, and if you have that vision and that commitment and that passion, you can never fail. You can never ever fail, because if you have the clarity of concept, if you have the clarity of mind, if your positioning is right, if your branding is right, and if you are absolutely clear that this is going to deliver, and if you are working with men of outstanding merit, I've always believed that the creative team has to be the best in India. And therefore, I have worked with the best creative directors, and they've always delivered. I've never failed simply because my team has always believed in succeeding. And this has happened in government. I mean, the private public partnership along with the creative agencies, both the times have been simply outstanding. And we carried that forward in Make in India initiative, and we're doing the same thing with Startup India initiative. So work with some of the most outstanding people who are far more smarter and who are far more meritorious than I am. I've always believed that the men around you must be much better than what you are.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ETNow, and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ETNowLive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/ETNow.